Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the newly released, at least limitedly released, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And if you, like me, walked away from the trailer thinking, what kind of movie is this exactly? Is it a remake? Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? What is this movie? I'll try and sum it up for you as best as I possibly can. The 2013 version of The Town That Dreaded Sundown opens with a opening narration showing sequences from the original Town That Dreaded Sundown from 1977 with, supposedly archival, police footage and police pictures, basically saying that the events that take place in this film really took place in Texarkana in 2013. So it's supposed to be actual events that acknowledge the 1977 film The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which was based on actual events that took place in Texarkana in 1946, but those events that took place in 1946 are happening again in 2013 because, and now this is no BS, this is 100% real, the town of Texarkana has at this point embraced those events that took place in 1946 and kind of promote the town as this touristy thing, like come see the real Town That Dreaded Sundown. This is the real Town That Dreaded Sundown. Every year they even host a town screening in the town square of the Town That Dreaded Sundown. And the new killer, or possibly it is the vengeful spirit of the original killer returning because of this fact, because the town has embraced the film, despite the fact, or it embraced the film, embraced the notoriety that the film has brought to the town, despite the fact that there are people who still live in that town who were alive during that time, or are descendants and relatives of the people who were really killed in 1946 by the real Phantom Killer. So the new Phantom Killer, or the vengeful spirit of the old Phantom Killer, has returned because the town no longer fears Sundown, and he wants to reinstill the fear or the dread of Sundown in Texarkana today. Now, before I get into the review of this movie, I want to urge you guys to go check out my review of the original Town That Dreaded Sundown and the Blu-ray release that Scream Factory did a few months ago. The first official Blu-ray release, or even the movie never even got a DVD release, an official DVD release in the States. And this is a phenomenal release. Really love this movie. Go check out my review of it. Put a link in the description below. And I've always been kind of fascinated with the actual events that took place in 1946. Of course, hooded killer, killing kids on Lover's Lane, the town dreaded Sundown. It's a small town, murders happening, of course, very, very dark time there. And the killer was never brought to justice. The killer was never publicly identified. So, of course, it went down into, that kind of dark lore of, the Zodiac Killer and Jack the Ripper. Only, unlike those cases, the Town That Dreaded Sundown, the Phantom Killer, there's far less information about it on the internet. And that's unfortunate. Definitely track down the documentary Killer Legends. It's done by the same people that did the documentary Cropsey, which I also recommend. But they talk about three different sort of real, urban legends. And the first one that they talk about in the film Killer Legends is the Phantom Killer, and really, really cool documentary. They talk to a journalist who was alive at the time, and I think he was a teen at the time. I don't recall, but really, really great interview with him where he kind of sort of the town. It's very interesting because the town, according to him, sort of almost was complicit in covering up the identity of the killer and sweeping it under the rug because the identity of the killer was he was part of a very powerful family in Texarkana at the time. So the town was kind of complicit in covering it all up. There's a reason we don't know who the Texarkana killer was, because Texarkana covered it up. They also talked to the mayor of the town, who just is gushing because, you know, the actual crew that made this remake were there recently shooting the remake, and just, you know, the notoriety that it's brought the town and the tourism and, you know, the yearly screenings. He's just gushing over it. Really interesting, just eerie, odd thing to watch, honestly. But a really interesting case, nonetheless. The Town That Dreaded Sundown film, not so much interesting, put it that way. An interesting idea on paper, at least, because, I mean, like I said, it's kind of interesting that, you know, small town embracing this awful event that happened in their past, you know, this dark past. They've gotten to the point where they've embraced it and they've used it, you know, they've used it to, you know, like better the town. They've used it to promote the town. And of course, you know, bad things begin happening in that town again because of this. I think that's really interesting. And of course, the fact that, you know, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the 1977 movie, was made based on it as well. They could have done a whole lot with that idea. Unfortunately, they don't in the new The Town That Dreaded Sundown movie. Now, that's not to say it's a really bad movie. It's the kind of movie, though, where they follow an effective moment with just something really not effective. Something that just, you know, where you can't take the movie seriously. For instance, the movie opens, the town, they're watching the movie. It's the town square screening of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and of course, two young lovers, they decide to leave. They go to Lover's Lane. The Phantom Killer shows up, and there's a moment where the female is in the car, and they start necking, and she notices there's a guy in the woods with a hood on his head watching them, and she goes, "Look, look, look." And her boyfriend looks over and goes, "Just a pervert, just a peeping Tom. He'll get his jollies and go away." You live in Texarkana. You just left a screening of The Town That Dreaded Sundown. You go to a Lover's Lane, and there's a guy in a hood watching you in the woods. No red flags there, just a pervert. Don't worry about it. That young lady, she survives the attack. She goes on, and the killer is calling her. The killer's emailing her. Phantom@anonymous.web is his email address. Shoot him an email. Shoot the Phantom Killer an email sometime. And of course, killings are popping up all over town. There's lots of killings in the movie. Very violent movie. Unfortunately, it's all CGI stabbings and shootings, which doesn't look very good. There's a sequence where the killer uses a severed head to break open a window to attack a victim. The movie, I guess, decided to be, you know, I don't know, updated, you know, an updated version of, you know, the Lover's Lane. So they throw a gay couple onto Lover's Lane, and it's one of the most uncomfortably awkward moments I've ever sat through. Not that it's a homosexual sequence at all. It's just so poorly written and acted and executed that it's just so very uncomfortably awkward to watch. Edward Herrmann is in the film, who was he was the dad on Gilmore Girls, and he was in The Lost Boys. He plays this very, very over the top, very, very stereotypical sort of Southern Baptist hellfire and brimstone preacher. It was clearly, I think, written and directed by people who, A, are not from small towns in the South, have no idea what people from small towns in the South act like, sound like, anything to that effect. The killer in the film, for me, the identity of the killer in the film was obvious after about 15 minutes. It's the kind of movie where the killer has blue eyes, so every male in the town has the exact same shade of blue eyes. Some of the kills from the original Talented Red Sundown are sort of brought back into this one. There's a trombone killing that's just, you know, CGI'd to pieces. Even though it's stabbing, it's CGI'd to pieces. There's an interesting variation on the kill where the killer shoots the guy in the head who's reading the paper, only he's not reading a paper. He's receiving he's having fun with a female friend, put it that way. We get in the end a very uneven movie, a very silly movie. We have moments that are effective. Unfortunately, they're followed immediately by moments that are just ridiculous, that you can't take seriously at all. At one point, Anthony Anderson shows up, who's the guy from Scary Movie, from various Scary Movie films, mostly known for comedies. He shows up. He's the lone wolf, you know, hard-ass Texas Ranger guy who's sent in to, you know, take care of the case. As soon as he walked on screen, of course, so you just can't take it seriously at all. I can totally understand why the movie's not getting a big wide release. I'm kind of surprised it's even getting a limited release and it's not just kind of going straight to video on demand or, you know, to Blu-ray or to, you know, the Redbox. It's got some effective moments. It's just not that good, unfortunately. It could have been very, very good and very, very interesting. It's just not. It is more of a slasher movie, really, than anything else. It's just not a very well done slasher movie. The ending of it is, again, the killer's identity is pretty obvious, but then they sort of throw a curve at you, which you really kind of don't see coming, but at the same time, you just wouldn't imagine the film would be that lame-brained. Yet it is. Yeah, just not a good movie, unfortunately, and I kind of wanted it to be, at least, if not a good movie, just a slasher movie, just a decent slasher movie. If it was just a decent slasher movie, I'd be perfectly fine with it. You know, it didn't live up to, you know, what it could have been, but it was still a decent slasher movie that if you're in the mood for a slasher movie, go, you know, grab it. I can't even give it that much. Watch this. Check this out. Go get the Blu-ray. It's on Netflix right now. Go check it out if you've not seen the original Talented Red Sundown. Definitely check it out, buy it, watch it, and you can totally pass the new Talented Red Sundown. Again, totally can understand why it did not get a wide theatrical release. Just not a good movie. So, anyway, until next time, you guys take it easy. If you've seen the new Talented Red Sundown, let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. If you've seen the old Talented Red Sundown, let me know what you think of it too in the comments section below. And until next time, you guys take it easy. Peace.